Hello traders, this is Rich from tradesight. This is a look at our market leading stocks for the coming session. This is going to be for Tuesday, April 29th, 2014. We had some very volatile two-way trade today, but when all said and done, we've got the market up a little bit on the day, but the internals aren't great. We're also not seeing a whole lot here as far as signals go. You can see from our NASDAQ side here, we're a little bit skewed to the sell side. Just a couple of names, but I think the real thing is there's nothing on the buy side. Bunch of volume bumps, a lot of volume still on Apple. The one thing is Apple's posting downside RPS on volume, so that one could be one to watch for tomorrow. A couple of big deviations here. Amazon, deviation to the downside off the open. Baidu's getting really hit hard today, really hard today. So that one's definitely not looking good. We shorted that one this morning under the 5-minute low. Really profitable trade. That's just points in the money. This is 7.5% below the day's open. Also have a deviation here in First Solar. Keep an eye on that. All the Jim Cramer bulls are gonna start feeling trapped. They're along this, $5 or $10 higher. Win is 3.5% below the day's open. Upside one here in BlackBerry though, 2.5% almost above the VWAP, so strong close there. Netflix, they're circling the wagons there with a strong close above the day's VWAP. Now it's still below the day's open. Moving on to the financials, the more broad market stuff. Financials actually held in fairly firm today for a while and then started to roll. So while some of the NASDAQ stuff is starting to bounce back, the financials are still feeling a little fatigue here. We don't have any signals on either side right now. Bank of America is really the real weak one. That one's more than 2% below the day's open after a good gap down, and that one's trading more than 3 times typical volume. Huntington Bancorp, 2% below the day's open and trading unusual volume. Moving on to energy names, couple of buys here. We've got a CPS and ExxonMobil and also Valero. Valero's pretty strong. That's a nice volatile name, so definitely keep an eye on that. PBR, Petrobras, almost 4% above the day's open, showing some strength there. That volume's okay. Moving on to the generals here, we've got a few signals on both sides. Best Buy, BBY, pretty strong today, but we're putting up an RPS sell signal on volume, so keep an eye on that for tomorrow on the downside. Dow Chemical, pretty good volume. That one's trading to the downside, more than 2.5% below the day's open. We've also got a deviation here in VMware. That one's pretty weak, 2.5% below the day's open on increased volume. Walmart, trading unusual amount of range today. That one has an upside CPS condition. That's a super low beta name. Housing names a little bit for sale here. These are contra candles though, so they're trading up on the day but below the day's open. Home Depot's got good volume, so I'm going to watch that one tomorrow. Not really seeing too much here in the transports. They're more or less just resting today, which is actually not a bad showing, all things considered. And finally, onto the commodity names. Just one signal here. ACH is showing a contra candle to the downside. The volatility in ABX and Newmont continues. The both to the downside today. That's a pretty good volume, so keep an eye on those to make sure you know where your bar counts are, especially in the intermediate time frames for both Newmont and ABX. Alright folks, as always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for tradesight.